Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Daniel Morrison, who will fight on CFFC 147, October 10th. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for taking the invitation. And a few months ago, you defeated undefeated prospect who was at that time 9-0. And right now, you will be fighting against a kind of veteran of the sport because he's got 18 bouts. So, from your perspective, is it like any difference in your training camp preparing for from one side really good prospect and the other like a really good veteran?
No, I would say I take all my challenges the same. I'm always going to prepare as hard as I possibly can. I'm not going to look down or above anybody or look over anybody, when I'm going in there. So regardless of if they're, a long vet who's been in the stretch for a while or someone who's like a more interesting prospect, I'm definitely looking to put the same amount of effort, if not more, every camp because I'm just trying to get better and improve myself more than anything.
And actually, I think that sometimes these veterans who's got like 15 or 20 bouts or even more, can be dangerous in some situations because, of course, they know the tricks. Maybe they are not undefeated, but they went in like into many battles. Sometimes they won, sometimes then they lost, but definitely, usually they are like super tough fighters.
Yeah, no, the big thing is definitely these guys have a lot of experience on under their belt. So, they've been through a lot of situations and the best, teachers experience as well too. And, especially the guy I'm fighting, I think when I was looking at his record, he's only been finished once and that was very early in his career. So, very durable guy. He's definitely trying to be there for, all the way through the fight. So, definitely makes him a tough opponent coming up.
And how happy were you when you defeated your last opponent, Jeremiah, who at that point, of course, he was 9-0, and I think that it's from even like prospects perspective, 9-0 is a great record, but in the end, you were just a better fighter that night.
Yeah, no, it was, I was very happy. I'm always happy with every win. That one was definitely a good one. Not even just, you know, defeating someone who's, undefeated, but just moving forward in my career. That's a good name to put under your belt, as well as, I've been fighting that gym specifically as well, too, a couple times as well. So I had like actually lost to his teammate prior. So, it was good to get that win, not only against him, but against his team as well. But I respect their team. It's a great team that they have. But again, 9-0 is a good person to put under my belt. I'm just trying to keep getting these names under my belt and keep growing so we can get into even bigger and better, places going on.
But actually, it will be because the fight is in a CFFC, but actually, it's not your first fight there. You fought before. You submitted, I believe, your opponent. So it's probably like a really good back to be in this promotion with like your great previous result.
Yeah, no, they're a great promotion. Obviously on UFC Fight Pass, they have a lot of guys who kind of have that line to go to the UFC. The first time I fought for them, they were a great promotion, so it's definitely good. I'm happy to be back with them, and I'm looking forward to even more fights with them moving forward. So it's gonna be a good homecoming.
And do you have plans for your like near future, like after this fight?
Definitely my goal because the welterweight title is on the line that same night. My goal is to get an impressive win. I want to watch that title fight, and I want to, my goal is to be the best in the world. So, I want to be able to fight the best. So the winner of that title fight, I would love a chance to be able to fight one of those guys. Depending on whoever wins, doesn't matter. But I would love a chance to become a world champion in the CFFC.
And actually it is also a really interesting fight. Also, two really good prospects in the main event. So I think that it's a perfect like next fight. If you win this one, it would be like a perfect result to challenge for the title.
No, yeah, for sure. If I, when I win this fight, it'll be, a 3 fight win streak as well too. Coming off some tough guys as well. So I'd love to be able to challenge those guys again. I'm just trying to get better and better. And the best way to get better is fighting tough guys, especially if you want to make it to the UFC or one of those big organizations like the PFL as well too. You got to face those tough challenges. I don't want my first tough challenge to be in one of the real organizations. I want to already feel like I'm well tested. When I go in there, I'm ready to be competing with the best of the best.
So let's say that after this fight, the PFL would contact you and they would offer you a contract. Would be interested in taking this kind of opportunity, or would you prefer to wait a little bit longer for the maybe like UFC chance?
That's definitely a tough question because UFC is always the goal, but at the end of the day, we're prize fighters as well too. So it definitely depends on what kind of numbers and different things they're offering, because just because, you sign with the PFL one day doesn't mean you can't fight with the UFC later. So it'd definitely be a good stepping stone as well, or just a way to continue to grow my name, get more experience, and then earn, a decent share of money as well, too.
Yes, and I would agree that definitely when there was like Bellator and right now PFL, it's not like end of the road. You definitely can go for like maybe 2, maybe 3 years there, get some good experience, and then go to the UFC. So definitely there are like big chance that if you win fights in PFL, definitely probably your contract can be a little even like be a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Always looking for, you know, financially, especially looking for the best things for us, because especially as early on fighters and some of these, promotions, we're not getting paid the most money in the world. So we definitely got to maximize, especially the limited time we have in this sport to be able to make as much as we can.
And about your beginnings in the combat sports, if you can tell me, did you have any kind of background before you started your like full MMA training?
Yeah, so I had my background in traditional martial arts. Like I started off with traditional kung fu, like all the way till I was like 4 years old. I had my dad who owned his own school, so I learned martial arts through him first. And then when I was 9, I started training at John Wayne Martial Arts, which is where I currently train today. So I've been there since I was 9 years old, and doing traditional kung fu there, but then started adding in Sanshou, which is some Chinese kickboxing, and then doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu as well, and then working through there, training through that, and then adding in the Muay Thai and the wrestling and everything as we went through. So I competed at some jiu-jitsu tournaments beforehand, some different kickboxing and some Sanshou events as well too before getting fully into MMA.
So overall, you have around probably like 20 years of experience.
Yeah, give or take.
So it's it's a lot because sometimes the fighters like start with the wrestling when he's in high school. So I think that's of course is like great base, but in the end it's not a long career, let's say. But when you started as the kid, it's you can get a lot of experience and be even like 20 or 25 years experience, not being even old.
Yeah, man, it's like I think for certain people, I'm a martial artist and a fighter, so I live the lifestyle of martial arts. I teach martial arts to kids, adults, and everybody as well as I train it. So, it's something that's been embedded in me since I was young. So it's one of those things where it's going to be a part of my lifestyle even after I'm done fighting and everything. I'll always be, continuously learning and training in martial arts. That's the beautiful thing about it is you can always learn more, so never stop being a student.
And what do you think are like benefits of coaching, especially like younger people, even kids? What do you think are like the biggest advantages of it?
Definitely some patience. But when I was younger, my dad always told me that it was good to teach martial arts as well. He told me that I'm going to what's it called? So he told me that, teaching martial arts, you're going to learn more about martial arts, right? And then I think teaching it, because sometimes you learn techniques, you do these techniques, and you've been doing them for so long, and then someone asks you, "Hey, why am I doing this?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, you do this because of this." So it's like you're really breaking down the game a little bit more. You're starting to understand concepts more overall, other than just the moves and everything that you're doing. So it really does give you a different perspective of the martial arts, kind of helps you break it down a little bit more, which helps you be able to, work a little bit more for yourself, helps you analyze things a little bit better because you're understanding more of the breakdown of everything that you're doing.
So probably you even after the fight, you spend a lot of time in the gym because you are a coach, right?
Yeah, of course. Definitely after fights, I take my little bit of time to kind of rest and breathe. But I'm already, the next day I'm back teaching pretty much, so I'm teaching, and then people are asking me about different things in the fights, and I'm trying to break that down for them so they can understand it as well too, so everything helps me to be a little more analytical when it comes to the actual fight game.
And when I watched your fights, I saw that I think that in my opinion one of the biggest strengths of your style is that you are like super well-rounded. You know when to strike, when to take a fighter on the ground, to grapple. But in your opinion, what is like the best skill of your skill set?
First of all, thank you. But I think definitely it would be. I can't pick one. I think my adaptability and my fight IQ is definitely a big thing that I carry into my fights. because I do feel confident everywhere. I feel confident striking. I feel confident on the ground, in my wrestling, on the cage, whatever it might be. I do feel like I have that availability to take the fight wherever it needs to be, whether that's, taking it into their strongest category or their weakest category. And I do think that's, one of my biggest strengths is that I'm not weak anywhere, right? And I think that when it comes to fights, you have to be able to kind of switch it up because some days your striking might not be feeling great. Sometimes your wrestling might not be feeling great. So you need to be able to transition. Sometimes nothing works and you have to blend everything all together until something does, right? So that's a big thing I carry with me is the availability to go to all my tools if I need to. And something will work eventually, to where I'll be able to break through to where I need to go. But, I game plan meticulously and I'm able to adapt very well, which is, one of the big things I pride myself on.
So let's say right now or a few weeks ago, did you watch the Hugh fights from like previous fights?
Yeah. As soon as we got the name and as soon as everything was signed and ready to go, already breaking down film, looking at some, more recent fight, looking at some older fights, myself and my coaches, to make sure that we understand where we can exploit, where we can look to, capitalize on. And then for us throughout this time in camp, it's really just been honing in on our things that we know are going to be able to be done to beat him, right? And then obviously just sharpening up things that we know we need to build on ourselves as well.
And like from your perspective, if you could pick a like perfect opponent for your even like the dream fight, which like welterweight would you like to face?
Oof. Well, that's a good question. Um, Man, a dream fight. I would say a dream fight would be someone like Kamaru Usman, just because he's literally my favorite fighter. So I think that'd be the coolest thing to fight, like your idol. Um, that would be an awesome experience. A multiple time world champion, one of the longer reigning champions as well too. So that'd be an amazing experience to be able to fight someone of that caliber. And also, obviously, test myself, but just be able to get in there with someone like that would be an amazing experience for sure.
And there was because Kamaru won the first 15 of his UFC bouts, so he was like just a few minutes to Anderson Silva record because Anderson had 16, so it was like super close. Maybe right now Islam Makhachev has a chance to beat it, but in the end it was like super close. And I think that Kamaru proved that he's like number two welterweight of all time.
Oh yeah, for sure. He had a long reign, a dominant reign as well, and then we also saw him, bring new wrinkles to his game, especially when switching to Trevor Whitman. Right, he was able to show that he could throw hands too, he could strike, and then even a lot of people were doubting him in his last fight when he fought Joaquin Buckley, but he was able to show like, hey, I can still get back to my wrestling, my roots. You guys keep talking about my knees. My knees are okay enough to go out here and wrestle and get a strong victory, dominating over 5 rounds.
And I have one last question. It's let's say it's a fun one a little bit. If you can book a UFC fight, but between non-fighters, which two people would you like to see in the cage?
Ooh, two non-fighters. That's a good question. Let's see. I think it would have to be, you know what? I would do Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I think after the rap beef, it'd be nice to see them fight. I definitely would take Kendrick over Drake, but that would be an entertaining one to see.
Yes, probably everybody would love to see it. Okay, Daniel, so thank you for the time and for conversation. I hope that you will take this fight and the big opportunity will appear in your next fight, maybe CFFC, a title fight, maybe something different, but also a big fight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Looking forward to bigger and better things moving forward.